Hello and welcome to day 72 of how to draw a person. And today we realized, or according to the Artistic Academy and some self-assessment, I realized that I'm at level 2 of learning how to draw a person. And that level entails, I just came out of the basics, I don't want, I want again to admit that I have been reading this book backward. And it's just now that I realize that I need to learn, and not only to learn but to learn from scratch. Like, to admit that I don't know anything to do with that, and that I'm truly an amateur. And there are 10 levels. Each level can take a year. This is the first level. I just did a self-assessment. So, and yeah, I'm still on the countdown to 100 days of learning how to draw a person. So, after realizing that I have been reading this book backward, or from the back up, I had to start from the beginning. That's why I'm saying I'm at level 2. Yeah, that is coming up after 70 days of learning. Yeah, as you learn, you realize that there is so much that you don't know. And admitting that, as soon as you admit that you are not an expert and you are willing to learn, the better it becomes for you, the easier it becomes for you, because you will not even feel stuck at a level. You just know what you are supposed to accomplish at a particular level, and that's it. And then you'll be able to manipulate the world as an artist, or even to express yourself. It's funny that the last level of learning art is being able to express yourself with art. And it's funny to me that because that was the first thing that I was looking for. So let me just go through the summary of just like a self-assessment of level 2 of
proficient tonal rendering techniques.
This is still at level 1.
Level 2. Children Art School, Year 2. Classical orders. Doric.
Classical orders. Let me start there. I'm supposed to input a voiceover as we go so that I don't have to go back and have to record and, you know, classical orders.
Architecture is a language, and you know how when you learn a new vocabulary word, you start to notice it for the first time everywhere? Well, the same thing happens with architecture. When you learn a new architectural form, you start to see it everywhere.
And that's especially true of the classical orders, because these are what are essentially the building blocks of Western architecture, and they've been used for 2,500 years.
We're basically talking about styles of architecture that the ancient Greeks had developed mostly for their temples. And you're right, that we've continued to use.
And we've got several contemporary examples up along the top.
But what's important to remember is that it's just a fancy dressing, really, of a basic ancient building system.
So we brought in Stonehenge to illustrate that ancient building system called post and lintel architecture. This is the most fundamental, most basic, oldest kind of architectural system. The posts are the vertical elements, and they support a horizontal element called a lintel.
And you know what? We still use this basic system when we nail 2x4s together. And that's what the Greeks were doing, but they were doing it in a...
This picture got me. So I think this is what they are calling classical orders in art. And drawing 5 orders by George. Okay, you can come back and look at that. History of, okay, because they are art oriented, let's learn about these classical orders. I can't wait to skip this.
This is a film about classical architecture, which is really based on 5 different kinds of column, which are called the 5 orders. And so I'm going to draw out the 5 orders so that you can see the difference between them.
Let's try to zoom in
and I'm
there.
going to start on the left-hand edge of this page with the simplest of the 5, which is called the Tuscan order. And an order, as it's called, starts with a column. So I'm going to draw here the base of the column shaft. And what that sits on is a column base, which has a moulding on it. Something like that. And then the diameter of this column we're going to call D. Now, this column is going to be 7 times the height of its thickness at the bottom. So this height here is going to be 7D. And what happens is that for the first third of the height of the column, the sides are parallel. And after that, it starts to taper inwards. So by the time we get to the top of the column, it's quite a bit narrower than it was at the base. And the taper has a very slight curve to it, which is called emphasis. And it's really an optical correction to make the column look graceful. So at the top of the shaft of the column, we have a capital, which is shaped like this. So those are the main parts
It sounds
of the column itself: the base, the shaft,
even the
and the
knowledge.
capital.
there's no so much information about this classical order. And okay, I'm going to look as much so that I can start to learn about it. You know, it's not even familiar with me. I always admired how the Romans built. Yeah. And anytime I would love to draw like them, it would be hard, you know. It will not be easy. I have never looked like this is the first thing that I have opened several videos to view. Like it's kind of untapped.
When we hear talking about classical orders, we usually think to something really ancient like these columns here. Well, that's not wrong. However, after the intro, we are going to discover
Look at a house that we designed.
are styles of architecture,
Why we designed the house.
Tuscan and the composite, that have been created.
And they said, we want to build on the beach. We want to build in a place that has great ocean views. We want to build a house that allows us to bring our extended family home. But we want to have a place that's private for them also. So we looked at putting the living kitchen across the back. Enjoy the view, the library, enjoy the view. Stairway that went upstairs with the master bedroom.
I know what happens or what is happening here. The more the urge, this hunger I have to learn about classical orders is somehow making the classical order run away from me. So I have to relax and just draw. Just be myself as usual. Enjoy the art and try to take my time. I know I can't understand all this by the first day.
And we looked at the kitchen, which was the garages in front. So very simply then, this became a living room with a fireplace sitting on the floor, seating
That was the fifth video.
When you first start studying the classical orders, you'll quickly find there's a whole vocabulary of new terms to learn. Every element has a specific size and place and a specific name. When it comes to proportioning the orders, the key word you read about most often is diameter. Diameter refers to the width, or as Vitruvius explained it, the thickness of the column at its base. This simple dimension becomes the basic unit of measurement for proportioning the entire order. For example, according to most authors, the Doric order's column is 8 diameters tall. The column's base at the bottom and the capital at the top both measure 1/2 of a diameter. The shaft of the column has a gradual taper called an entasis. While the bottom third of the column remains cylindrical, the upper 2/3 taper so that the diameter at the necking of the capital is 5/6 the diameter of the base. The horizontal member that is supported by the column
Did you just see?
letter refers to the width, or as Vitruvius explained it, the thickness of the column at its base. This
This is
simple
diameter,
dimension
as
becomes the
usual.
basic unit of measurement for proportioning the entire order. For example, according to most authors, the Doric order's column is 8 diameters tall.
A column is 8 diameters. A column, let's assume. Okay. But this is too long. Already, this I don't know whether this diameter will fit 8 times. But if you were to draw this as a column now, from that knowledge only, you will go 8 times. We do 8. there should be 8 of them. So, okay, let me draw proportionate. Yeah, and these I'm assuming is like you have a sphere like that, and you can almost imagine it like that. So this is the base, and you are supposed to measure this 8 times. Let me just use a ruler instead. So it's about 4.8 centimeters. 4.8 centimeters. Okay, wait a minute. Let's draw a perfect circle, right? So here, that's already too big. They are saying, hey, what's up? Relax. What time is it? Even it's date 8, it's date 10, August 10, 2024. And I'm here learning about art, the hard way, as you can see. How hard is this? Okay. So that is one. That is 1, 2. These are already too long. Hey. Okay, let me do something else. Okay, measure 8 centimeters. You can tell that I'm under pressure. I'm not relaxed. Yeah, that is +1. +1. So for a column, according to the masters, for a column it should be 8 diameters. So if this column is, if we want to make a 8 centimeter column, the diameter here the diameter should be 8 times. So the diameter here should be 1 centimeter. 2. Okay, we are using thin. So the diameter should be 2 centimeters. So how are you? This is me and art. I had to learn these things the hard way. I can't even make a straight line. Then this is less than 2 centimeters. 1 centimeter. This should be 8 times. Okay, let me just allow me to fumble. It's my first day at school. I was looking for something to make it easier for me to draw circles here, but okay, we are good. We'll be good.
The column's base at the bottom and the capital at the top both measure 1/2 of a diameter. The shaft of the column has a gradual taper called an entasis. While the bottom third of the column remains cylindrical, the upper 2/3 taper so that the diameter at the necking of the capital is 5/6 the diameter of the base. The horizontal member that is supported by the column is called the entablature. In this Doric example, the height of the entablature measures 2 diameters tall. Just like the column, this principal member is also divided into 3 elements. The architrave at the bottom is 1/2 a diameter, while the frieze and cornice above both measure 3/4 of a diameter. The projection of the cornice is also determined by the diameter. According to Vignola, the Doric order's cornice projects out 1 diameter from the frieze. To determine the sizes of the smaller molding details, most of frieze. To determine the sizes of the smaller projects out 1 diameter from the frieze. According to Vignola, the Doric order's
Okay, allow me to just have the fun today. Yeah.
cornice projects out 1 diameter from the frieze. To determine the sizes of the smaller molding details, most authors turn to the diameter and begin dividing its dimension into smaller units. While not every author uses the same system, one common practice is to divide the diameter into 60 equal parts, called minutes. With this new smaller unit of measurement defined, a detailed full-page illustration plate is used to call out all of the molding dimensions. It lists the height of each detail and its projection. With this information, all of the details can then be carved out. The cornice of bolts. With this new smaller unit of measurement defined, a detailed full-page illustration or plate is used to call out all of the molding dimensions. It lists the height of each detail and its projection. With this information, all of the details can then be carved out. The cornice, architrave, capital and base, and then the final details, including the triglyphs, columns, chains, and flutes. An excellent example of this system of the columns, and base, the cornice, architrave.
So the corners. Okay. Let's try to elevate this again. 2 here. So 2 here. Okay. Let me do this the right way. And this come and goes back. Two.
Trade, capital and base, and then the final details, including the triglyphs and the column's channels.
So here, this is rectangular, and this will spin over. And by that, allow me to use my terms. So I bid it, yeah. And then there is this. One, two, three, four, five. these are my hands. Thank you for the 32 minutes. I have been humbled by art because I thought it would be quick. No, I thought it was just peep in, peep out. So for precision, you have to one, two, three, four. The first one should be one, two, three, four. One, two, three, four. Columns. One, two, three, four. Okay. One, two,